Fallout New Vegas burned the sights of the Mojave into my brain when I first played it, but when I booted it up to play recently, I noticed that the game is looking a bit tired. It came out in 2010, so hey, I should probably give it and its many shades of brown a break. But, simply put, New Vegas is too great of a Fallout game to not be prettied up and shown off to a brand new audience. So, if you're like me, you're probably yearning for a remaster. Well, we won't have much longer to wait, as the folks at the Fallout 4 New Vegas project are remaking the entire game in Fallout 4's creation engine. I mean, just look at it.
What do you say you take a seat on my couch and we go through a couple questions? See if your dogs are still barking.
They are truly doing the Lord's work. The community has been working on it steadily since 2017, and released this bit of taster gameplay from it in 2018. And oh boy, I need it. Stat. According to Metamoth, the project manager for Fallout 4 New Vegas, the team of volunteers are changing absolutely zilch narrative-wise in the game, and are even trying to bring back some cut content and expand on the game world a bit. That means expanding the weapons mod system, rebalancing the combat to make it more dynamic, and adding some new weapons and small-scale environmental encounters. Having more random encounters in the wasteland is the team's attempt to spice up the wider world of New Vegas, as, for some, the land did feel a bit barren at times, which did slightly disincentivize exploration. Metamoth says that their core philosophy with all this additional content is to make sure that it feels like it was always part of Fallout New Vegas. Good God, I just need it right now. Remaster, remake, whatever you call it, updating Fallout New Vegas for a brand new audience is a no-brainer. Here's 6 reasons why a Fallout New Vegas remaster is definitely worth playing or revisiting, whether you've never played it before or have already reached Herald of Tranquility status. In Fallout New Vegas, you're not a parent searching for their lost child, or a kid trying to find their dad, or a literal chosen one, or a saviour of a vault. You're a mailman. Well, technically a courier for the Mojave's post system. In the middle of a perfectly ordinary delivery, some dick in a nifty jacket shoots you in the head, but not before dropping one of Fallout's most famous lines.
From where you're kneeling must seem like an 18-carat run of bad luck. Truth is, the game was rigged from the start.
Naturally, once you're back on your feet, you decide to get revenge. Or you might just want to talk to the guy to find out why he killed you for the platinum poker chip you were carrying. Being someone so unremarkable in Fallout New Vegas is a breath of fresh air. Because your courier is just like the rest of us. They don't have some big destiny spelt out for them, they haven't set themselves a noble quest, and there are no great expectations on their shoulders. New Vegas is just about some ordinary guy or gal getting tangled up in a really unfair situation during an otherwise ordinary delivery route. It's something that could happen to any of us. You start off as a pawn, a go-between, someone who wouldn't even be mentioned in the story of the platinum chip if everything had gone to plan. After getting shot, your tenacity emerges and turns you into someone who's loathed and maybe even feared by the Mojave's factions. The tangled web of deceit, power, and tyranny that you get yourself tied up in comes as much more of a surprise because your character starts off so ordinary. Basically, if a nuclear war was to happen, any of us could be in the courier's shoes. The Mojave is truly a world unlike any other. Obsidian, the developers, had to find a bit of America that hadn't been covered in any other Fallout game, and they picked the Mojave Desert. In those stretches of, admittedly, very little happening, it's almost like the emptiness of the desert makes you go a little bit stir-crazy. Sure, there's not loads to do in between settlements and points of interest, but when you're playing New Vegas, that almost works, and makes you feel saturated in the dry heat of the Mojave. So, when things do happen, like bandit ambushes or fighting through a hotel, it's a bit of a shock to the system. The whole setting feels even weirder, as the long, sandy roads are almost the direct opposite of the major towns in New Vegas. Those places mostly deal in extremes, with towns encouraging rampant nights of excess as a way to briefly forget bandit clans nipping at the fringes of those very towns, or Khazar's Legion. But, to draw people in, they have to out-weird each other to grab the attention of passers-by. So, you have Dinky the T-Rex at Novak, Gamora's hedonistic dancers, and the roller coaster at Prim. Then, in between them are people actually trying to survive in normal towns, which just feels even stranger because they're not trying to grab your attention. Does that make sense? However, to combat those intermittent periods of nothing, the Fallout 4 New Vegas team are trying to spice up the Mojave a bit more to make exploration feel more rewarding. With those features in the game, that undercurrent of the bizarre in the Mojave will hopefully become a more obvious theme, especially as there is that trait where you can dial the weird right up to 10. Fallout New Vegas has an incredible array of DLCs too. There's Honest Hearts, Dead Money, Old World Blues, and Lonesome Road. You can play all of them alongside the main story, but Lonesome Road is best saved till you've completed the game. What's fantastic about all these DLCs is that they're all so different. Old World Blues is darkly funny and centred around exploration and the fucking weird.
What confused us is why you were still wearing your skin. So we stripped that away. You weren't using it anyway.
The tense Dead Money DLC has you sneak around a perfectly preserved pre-war casino with an explosive collar around your neck.
Do what I say. Refuse, try and run, disobey me. That collar on your neck will go off and take your head with it.
Honest Hearts puts you in the centre of a tribal war in a national park.
I have been baptized twice. Once in water, once in flame.
And Lonesome Road finally lets you track down Ulysses, the mysterious career that you've been hearing about for ages.
Why didn't I take the job? You, courier. You were the reason.
Lonesome Road is kind of like a second ending to Fallout New Vegas, like Lord of the Rings. As Ulysses is murmured about throughout all the DLCs and New Vegas, he's one of the things that makes Fallout New Vegas and its DLCs feel like a cohesive whole. New Vegas's DLCs shine because they each have clear, central characters, different themes, as well as unique locations. Yeah, that sounds incredibly dumbed down when I put it like that, I know. But it's the truth. While Old World Blues leans into zany B-movie tropes, Dead Money is a bank heist crossed with a horror movie. They can each take around 5 to 8 hours to beat, which means they're entertaining without feeling bloated. So, thanks to those DLCs, there's loads to do when you're done with the main game.
Fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada, the jewel of the desert.
Villains are tricky to get right. Sometimes they become legends like Handsome Jack or GLaDOS, and sometimes they're just someone mildly annoying and vaguely evil cackling at you from a distance. New Vegas nailed its main antagonist by making us unsure whether he really is bad or not. I'm talking about none other than Mr. House. As the president/owner of New Vegas, you inevitably run into him and, surprise surprise, he's part of the mystery surrounding that platinum chip you were meant to deliver. I don't want to say any more in case any of you watching this haven't played New Vegas, but once you start to dig into House's backstory, you find out that, oh boy, he would really do anything to let New Vegas thrive. Even if I theoretically disagreed with House, I'd definitely hesitate to simply call him a villain. Depending on your point of view, he's either a benevolent dictator or a visionary who has the drive and intelligence to turn New Vegas into a beacon for the post-apocalyptic wasteland. The choice you have whether to side with him or not is therefore one that you should prepare to tussle with and argue about with your friends, who might be enemies by the time you're done. Travelling across the wasteland can get lonely. Fallout New Vegas's companions put a stop to that. These aren't just great people, or robots, or mutants, to have by your side in a fight though, as most of them have enthralling backstories and quests. Honourable mentions include Lily, Edie, Dog/God and Christine Royce from the Dead Money DLC, and, of course, Boone. Poor Boone. What I love about New Vegas's companions is that they're all really unique. There's an iBot filled with old audio logs, a Nightkin who remembers her past life, the bitter, mute Christine, and a Nightkin with 2 personalities vying for control. Just like Nick Valentine in Fallout 4, these companions alone are a reason to play, or replay, Fallout New Vegas. Because most of the companions don't just ask you for help, the way you discover their quests can be really subtle. Some of Edie's audio logs will be activated by words spoken by random NPCs, and Lily's recording of her past will only appear when certain conditions are met. So, when you do activate a companion quest, having your companion reveal more about themselves often feels like a natural next step for your friendship. Lastly, it's the small things that make New Vegas pure gold. I love the fact that you can get into hostile factions' territories by dressing in their armour, but for the less obvious stuff, there's tons of things that reward the eagle-eyed. So, the Vault Boy shushes you when you select the silenced gun, and people on Reddit have spotted robots lasering off graffiti in New Vegas, hilarious lines, overlooked locations, and loads more. Even when you're done with most of the quests, there's still stuff to discover in New Vegas, whether that's unmarked quests or locations that might have passed you by. There you have it, why Fallout New Vegas is worth revisiting, and why we can't wait for the Fallout 4 New Vegas mod to be in our eyeballs. If you liked the video, make sure to subscribe to Eurogamer, as we make a new video every single day, so there's always something new to watch. Chuck this video a like if you liked it, and click the bell icon to get notified when we create another video. See you in the wasteland, courier.
War. War never changes.